Hello everybody, I'm Thomas. Welcome back to another video. This time, doing something a little bit different. I am going to be ranking every game in my collection with a bit of a caveat. So let me explain real quick. There is a site out there called PubMeeple, which is what I will be using today, where you can enter a bunch of things and then you'll basically get a bunch of comparisons, comparing the things to each other. And at the end of it, it will kind of output a list of your favorite things in order based on those comparisons. So I'm going to be doing that today with all the games in my collection. Now, I'm not going to be doing every single game in my collection. The caveat is I need more than one play. That's it. I just need more than one play of a game for it to qualify for it to be in here. So a couple of my games I have on my shelf of shame don't count. If I have only just a single play in it, I'm not going to count it because I'm always learning the game my first play. So if I only have just one play, I'm also not counting it. So yeah, with that caveat, I have 73 items I will be comparing today. With any games that I have expansions for, I'm just going to include them in the game. You know, for Arkham Horror, the card game, I'm going to include like all the expansions I have just with that. Same with any other games I have expansions or stuff. I'm just going to kind of include that with the game itself. The other kind of outlier with this list is I do have a couple of RPGs in here because I've been playing this more and more, so I figured it's only fair to kind of include them in here. So I have Dungeons and Dragons, I have this one called D100 Dungeon, I think I only have one other, there's one called like Umbra. That'll be popping up. So I have a couple RPGs, and the other kind of outlier in here is I did include Hearthstone. That's not a game in my physical collection, but I figured I'm including other card games that I've been playing lately, like Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, those. So I figured it's only fair to include Hearthstone. So, okay. So yeah, with that explanation out of the way, I got 73 items to rank. It's going to take me 251 comparisons. Hopefully this video isn't very long, but we'll see how it goes once I start going through it. I tested it a little bit with some comparisons, and I think it's going to be maybe more difficult than I anticipate, but let's see how this goes. So, Twilight Inscription or Welcome to the Dungeon. Both good games, but Twilight Inscription for sure. Tiny Epic Dinosaurs or Terraforming Mars Ares. I'm not hot on either of these games, to be honest. This is kind of a tough one. I don't want to spend too much time on these. Terraforming Mars is pretty good. Dinosaurs is pretty... I'll go with Terraforming Mars. Railroad Inc. for sure. I'm not a big role player fan, and Railroad Inc. is one of my favorite games. This is an interesting one because this is not really an expansion. It's like a follow-up game, so that's why I included them both separate. I think I do like this one better just because it has like the poison mechanic and whatnot. Jump Drive. I love Jump Drive. Coffee Roasters is great, but Jump Drive is awesome. Ooh, okay. So Keyforge. This is including all of Keyforge, not just Call of the Archons, but any, set. And I do love me some Keyforge. I love the Attack on Titan game, but okay, Hearthstone or Umbra. Umbra is pretty fun. I haven't played it too much, but Hearthstone is classic. Ooh, Hadrian's Wall or Curious Cargo. So this will be interesting because, see, like Hadrian's Wall, it's, got different player counts, it's got the solo campaign, it's got a lot of variability, but Curious Cargo is really fun. Like, I haven't got to play it too much because it's a two-player only. It does have a solo mode, which I've been learning recently. That's really tough. I'm gonna go with Hadrian's Wall, but Curious Cargo is really fun. High Society or Dungeons and Dragons, that's not really fair. Poor High Society. Warp's Edge or Yu-Gi-Oh! The card game. Oh my god. I mean, Warp's Edge is a really fun solo-only game, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, that's like a really fun card game. I'm not great at it. I mean, I'm gonna go Warp's Edge. It feels weird, but Unsurmountable, Welcome Back to the Dungeon. Welcome Back to the Dungeon, pretty much the same as Welcome to the Dungeon, a little bit different, but Unsurmountable, probably one of my favorite button shot games, so I'm gonna go with that one. I'll go with Griffin Inn or Welcome to. Welcome to is super solid. I haven't played it in a while, but I do like it quite a bit. Twilight Inscription or World of Warcraft, Wrath of the Lich King, a pandemic game. Really fun game, but Twilight Inscription is really solid. Like, this is good, but I think this is better. Okay. I do like Wrath of the Lich King better than Welcome to the Dungeon. Okay. Tiny Epic Galaxy might be my favorite Tiny Epic game, but Turing Machine all the way. Turing Machine all the way. Western, Tiny Epic Western versus Tiny Epic Zombies. Western for sure. I like Western a whole heck of a lot. Tiny Epic Dungeons versus Three Dragon Ante. Three Dragon Ante is like this cool like Dungeons and Dragons like little card game. Quite fun. Is it better than Tiny Epic Dungeons? Tiny Epic Dungeons, I'm gonna be honest, pretty cold. I'm pretty cold on. I was really hyped to play it, and it's just not. It's kind of fell flat for me. So I'm gonna have to go with Three Dragon Ante. Three Sisters or Terraforming Mars Ares. Three Sisters is pretty fun. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza versus Suburbia. See, it's such a weird comparison because both games are super fun. I played a bunch of Suburbia, but Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza I just got, and it's such a fun game. I'm gonna go with Suburbia. It's a really fun game. Skull or Sushi Go Party? Skull is fun, especially playing it in person. I'd prefer to play Skull, I think. But Sushi Go Party, there's so much variability with like the different menus, and I think Sushi Go Party is a little bit further up. Spirit Island, I'm kind of iffy on. It's not a bad game for sure. It's just not for me. I like Sprawlopolis a whole lot though. Spotit's really fun, but Railroad Ink is one of my favorites. So Spotit's definitely better than Role Player. I can tell you that much. Railroad Ink, Lush Green versus Ragemore. Ragemore, I don't know. Not a big fan of. Railroad Ink wins there. Oh my god. Pokemon the trading card game versus Race to the Galaxy. Race to the Galaxy is a great game, but I like Pokemon a whole lot, so sorry Race to the Galaxy. Palm Island versus Pentaquark. Pentaquark's fun, but super hard. Palm Island I've had a lot of fun with, so I'll go with that one. Orchard versus One Deck Forest of the Shadows. Orchard I like a lot, so I'll go with that one. Magic the Gathering versus One Night Ultimate Werewolf. Very weird comparison, you know, card game versus social deduction game, but yeah, no, that's how it's gonna be sometimes. I'm gonna go with Magic. I'm not a huge Magic fan, but One Night Ultimate Werewolf is kind of okay. No Thanks versus Monopoly Deal. This is a really interesting comparison. Pretty similar like style, you know, length of games, pretty quick games, but really fun. I like both of these a whole lot. I like Monopoly Deal a whole lot. Not a big fan of Monopoly, but I love Monopoly Deal. Once again, pretty good comparison. Love Letter versus Coup. I like Love Letter better. This is brutal. The Crew versus Jump Drive. I like both of these games a lot, but The Crew is just fantastic. Castles of Burgundy, the card game, not the original board game, the card game, versus Just One. I like Just One better. Codenames Duet versus Le Havre. Le Havre is my only Uwe Rosenberg game I have, and I like it a lot, but Codenames Duet is really fun. I got rid of my other code names for Duet, so I think I'm gonna have to go with Duet. Cockroach Poker versus The Game. I'm a big fan of co-op games, so I'm gonna have to go with The Game, even though I hate the name. I hate that name. They should have picked a different name, but whatever. It's a pretty good game. Keyforge versus Arkham Horror, the card game. Man, oh man. It's like picking a favorite child. I'm gonna go Keyforge. Arkham's so fun, but I really like Keyforge a lot. Okay, Arkham Horror versus Attack on Titan. Once again, Attack on Titan is really fun. So is Arkham Horror. I'm going to go with Arkham Horror on this one. Kanban EV is a new addition to my collection, but it is real fun. So this versus Seven Wonders Duel, I mean, I'd rather pick Kanban, to be honest. Food Chain Island versus Agropolis, pretty good comparison. I like both of these games quite a bit, but Food Chain Island, just a little bit more, I think. Friday versus Gaia Project. Friday, not great at. I'm real bad at it. I feel like I'm playing it wrong like every time, but Gaia Project's real fun. Hearthstone versus Airland and Sea. Hearthstone for sure. Airland and Sea versus Umbra. Umbra for sure. Fantastic Factories versus D100 Dungeon. D100 Dungeon is a really fun solo RPG. Fantastic Factories is better. Hadrian's Wall versus Hive. We'll go with Hadrian's Wall. Hive is okay. I'm not big on abstract games, but this one I do like quite a bit. Curious Cargo, I love Curious Cargo. Fallout versus Gloomhaven, Fallout for sure. Dungeons and Dragons versus Dominions, Dungeons and Dragons. Dominion versus High Society. Now, High Society is a really fun, like a auctioning type game. Living your best life, Dominion. Dominion is Dominion. I'm gonna have to go with High Society. It gets to the table a bit more, and I just like it a bit more. Ooh, tough, but I like Warp's Edge. Yu-Gi-Oh! For sure. Twilight Inscription is better than Welcome to, I could tell you that much. World of Warcraft's better than Welcome to. Welcome to is better than Welcome to the Dungeon. I like Welcome to the Dungeon better than Ugly Griffin. Turing Machine's better than Tiny Epic Western. Okay, now this is a tough one because these are probably my two favorite Tiny Epic games. Western, I like the theme a lot more. I just love the aspect of like the poker. It's just, I think, so cool. You got the worker placement, whatever. I think Tiny Epic Galaxy beats it though. They're both so good though, but I got to pick one. So, Three Jack and Annie versus Three Sisters. Three Sisters is good. I'm not crazy about it though, so I'm gonna have to go with Three Jack and Annie. Three Sisters is better than Tiny Epic Dungeons. Tiny Epic Dungeons is better than Terraforming Mars. I like Suburbia more than Sushi Go Party, but Taco Cat Go Cheese Pizza does beat Sushi Go Party. I think it's just a fun party game. Like it's real good. Railroad Ink versus Sprawlopolis. Interesting comparison. I have to go with Railroad Ink. Sprawlopolis versus Spotted. I like Spotted a lot. It's a new addition to my collection, but it's real different and real fun. Sprawlopolis is such a classic. Okay, now this I'm gonna get some hate for. I'm choosing Spotted over Spirit Island, but I think I made it pretty clear I'm not the biggest Spirit Island fan. So, role player versus Spirit Island, I will go with Spirit Island. Pokemon versus Railroad Ink, I'm gonna go with Pokemon. Race for the Galaxy versus Railroad Ink Green. Race for the Galaxy. Okay, interesting comparison. Palm Island versus Orchard. Both great small solo games. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go with Orchard. Palm Island's great. It's better than One Duck Dungeon, but One Duck Dungeon's better than Pentacourt. Pentacourt. I guess One Duck Dungeon's better than Pentacourt. Yeah. Monopoly Deal versus Magic the Gathering. I mean, which game do I like better? It's probably Monopoly Deal, to be honest. No thanks for Magic the Gathering. It's probably no thanks. I'm not big on Magic, to be honest. It's fine, but I like, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Hearthstone, Keyforge. I like those better. So Crew, but definitely one of my favorites. Jump Dive is fantastic. Love Letter, it's probably better than Coffee Roasters. Coffee Roasters better than Coup. Both nice light party games. I think Just One is pretty good. So is Codenames. I'm gonna go with Just One. It's a little bit less stressful, but Codenames is better than Castle Burgundy, the card game. I like Le Havre. Keyforge beats the game for sure. Arkham Horror beats the game. Attack on Titan beats the game. Kanban beats Food Chain. Food Chain beats Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders isn't bad, but just I don't know. It's all right. Is it better than Agropolis? All right, I'm gonna give Seven Wonders a chance there. I think it deserves it. Hearthstone versus Gaia Project. Wow. I'm gonna have to go with Hearthstone. Gaia Project's great. It really is. It's better than Umbra, I think. Umbra's better than Friday. Friday versus Airland and Sea. Airland and Sea is pretty interesting. I do probably like it better. I'm not huge on Friday, to be honest. Fantastic Factories is great. Hadrian's Wall is better than D100 Dungeon. Curious Cargo is better than D100 Dungeon. I like that better than Hive. Dungeons and Dragons, of course. Fallout's better than High Society. High Society versus Gloomhaven, Jaws and the Lion. I'm gonna probably pick High Society, Gloomhaven over Dominion. This is a pretty interesting comparison. We got a couple of solo space games. I mean, this could be played, non-solo. Warp's Edge is great. I like Warp's Edge. I want to get the expansions at some point, the play mats at some point, the cool tokens. But Twilight Inscription has really blown me away. So I'm going to give it to Twilight Inscription. This is a pretty tough comparison. I think Warp's Edge just pretty close, but Warp's Edge beats it out. Yu-Gi-Oh! I like a whole heck of a lot, but it's pretty complicated and I'm bad at it. So do I enjoy it more than Welcome to, though? I think, yeah, I do. Welcome to versus Unsurmountable. Unsurmountable is real good. I like it a lot. Welcome to is better than Welcome Back. Welcome Back is better than Welcome to. Turing Machine is better than Three Dragon Annie. Tiny Epic is better than Three Dragon. I like Tiny Epic Western. This isn't bad, but I just like these. Maybe better. I like zombies. I'm not crazy about. There's just a decent amount of time with setup with zombies, so I'm not I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it's still good. Tiny Epic Zombies versus Three Sisters, probably Three Sisters. Dungeons versus Zombies. See, Dungeons, I don't know about Dungeons. I wanted to like it a lot, but it's one that just kind of fell flat. I'll choose Zombies. Railroad Ink Blue versus Suburbia. This is an interesting. I'm gonna have to go with Railroad Ink. It's such a good game. Okay, the two city building games, or some of the city building games they have. Sprawlopolis versus Suburbia. I mean, Suburbia is just such more of a game than Sprawlopolis. Taco Cat Gucci's Pizza is so fun. Sprawlopolis, I'll probably choose over Sushi Go Party. Spotted versus Sushi Go Party. Sushi Go Party has a little bit more variability. Spotted versus Skull. Ooh. I like Spotted. I don't know what to say. Skull is fun, but it could be kind of intense, and I feel like sometimes you're just kind of guessing. Especially playing it online, I think it's a lot less fun. But Spotted, like I said, it's a new addition to my collection, but I've been having a lot of fun with it. So Spotted wins there. Spirit Island versus Skull. I'll probably go Skull. Orchard versus Pokemon. I'll pick Pokemon. Orchard versus Race for the Galaxy. Got to give it to Race for the Galaxy. Orchard versus Railroad Ink Green. Probably Railroad Ink Green. Orchard's real good, but it's better than Ragemore, I can tell you that. Palm Island I like more than Ragemore. Ragemore versus One Deck Dungeon Forest of Shadows. Ragemore's pretty fun, so I'll give it to that. Crew is better than Monopoly Deal. Jump Drive is better than Monopoly Deal. Love Letter is probably better than Monopoly Deal, but which one do I like better, you know? These are both great games. You know, if I'm going to a bar, these are probably like the 2 pocket games, you know, they're pretty small, I can bring them along, pretty easy to teach. I'm gonna give it to Monopoly Deal. I don't care. Love Letter versus No Thanks. I like Love Letter a lot. No Thanks versus Coffee Roasters. No Thanks. Coffee Roasters versus Magic the Gathering. I'll give it to Coffee Roaster versus Coup. Coup I haven't played in a while, so I'm kind of, I don't want to say cooled on it, but I just haven't played in a while. Well, both of these games I haven't played in a while. I'm gonna give it to Coup because I like that a bit more. Keyforge beats Just One. Arkham Horror beats Just One. Attack on Titan beats Just One. The Game versus Just One. I like Just One better. Codenames versus The Game. Probably Codenames. The Hive versus The Game. Weird comparison. I would probably... The Hive is fun, you know? It's real fun. The Game's probably better than Castle of Burgundy. Cockroach Poker is probably better than Castle of Burgundy. Hearthstone versus Kanban EV. See, Hearthstone I've played for so long. Kanban I just got like a week ago. I mean, I've gotten a couple plays in it, but it's a big game. It's tough. That's really tough, to be honest. I'm gonna go with Kanban. Hearthstone versus Food Chain. I'll go with Hearthstone. Food Chain versus Gaia. I'll go with Gaia Project. Umbra versus Food Chain Island. Umbra's really fun. I'll be playing it at some point on the channel, but I'll go with Umbra. Airland Sea versus Food Chain Island. Go with Food Chain Island. Airland Sea versus Seven Wonders. I like Seven Wonders better. Acropolis versus Airland Sea. Acropolis is good. Dungeons and Dragons versus Fantastic Factories. Oh man, I knew these kind of comparisons are gonna be coming up because Fantastic Factories is probably one of my favorite games. We'll figure out after this what my favorite game is, but I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is great, but like there's so much you could do in Dungeons and Dragons, but at the same time, like Fantastic Factories is so fun. I think it's one of my favorite games. This is a tough one. I knew adding in RPGs and whatnot and like card games that we're gonna get some weird comparisons like this, but this is tough. I'm gonna go with Fantastic Factories. Dungeons and Dragons versus Hadrian's Wall. I'll go D&D. Good old D&D. Hadrian's Wall versus Fallout. Fallout's real good. Fallout's I like a lot. I think Hadrian's Wall beats it out, but Fallout's real good. Curious Cargo versus Fallout. These are both great games. I like them so much. I think the IP in Fallout just beats it out a little bit, but Curious Cargo is so good. It definitely beats High Society. It's a real fun game. D100 Dungeon versus High Society. I'll give it to D100 Dungeon. It's a fun one. Hive versus High Society. I'll give it to Hive. Turing Machine versus Twilight Inscription. Man, this is a tough one. This is a tough one. I know I'm gonna have some tough comparisons, but this is a tough one. Because Turing Machine is great, you know, but there's only so much game to it, you know, there's only so much you could do. But Twilight Inscription, you got your 4 different boards and you got, you know, the different factions. There's a lot of variability and it's a lot longer of a game, you know, a lot different of a game. But is it better? Which one's better? I have to choose one of these 2 games. I'm going Turing Machine. Twilight Inscription versus Tiny Epic Galaxy. Twilight Inscription. Tiny Epic Galaxy versus Warp's Edge. Space games. Solo-ish space games. This one's not solo exclusive. I like Warp's Edge a lot. Tiny Epic Galaxy versus Wrath of the Witch King. Probably Galaxies. Wrath of the Witch King versus Western. Probably Western. I don't hate this game. I like it more than 3 Dragon Ante, I think. 3 Dragon Ante versus Yu-Gi-Oh! Give it to Yu-Gi-Oh! 3 Dragon Ante versus Unsurmountable. We'll give it to 3 Dragon Ante. It's pretty fun. Unsurmountable. Welcome 2 versus 3 Sisters. I like Welcome 2 better. Welcome Back to 3 Sisters. Go to Welcome Back. Same with Welcome, probably also beats 3 Sisters. 3 Sisters beats Ugly Griffin. Ooh, Zombies beats Ugly Griffin. I'm not huge on Ugly Griffin, though. It does probably beat out Dungeons. Railroad Ink versus Pokemon. Oh, man. I'm gonna give it to Railroad Ink. Feels weird, but whatever. Suburbia versus Pokemon. Well, this is such a weird comparison. I'm gonna give it to Pokemon. Suburbia is great, but I mean, Pokemon's awesome. So I don't know. Race for the Galaxy versus Suburbia. Probably Race for the Galaxy. Suburbia versus Railroad Ink. I mean, I'll give it to Railroad Ink. Suburbia versus Orchard. I guess so. Suburbia, Orchard versus Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza. Such a fun game. If anyone out there hasn't tried that game, I definitely recommend it. Sprawlopolis versus Orchard. Probably Orchard. Sprawlopolis versus Palm Island. We'll go with I don't know. Palm Island I like. Sprawlopolis beats Ragemore. Sushi Go Party beats Ragemore. Spotted beats Ragemore. Skull beats Ragemore. Spirit Island beats Ragemore. Ragemore beats Role Player. One Deck Dungeon, sure. One Deck Dungeon, sure. Pentacork beats Role Player, I suppose. The Crew versus Keyforge. The Crew is so fun. But Keyforge, well, I like this, you know, it could be played co-op. I like co-ops, but Keyforge can also be played co-op with the solo adventures. But and there's so much. Keyforge has so much going for it. But the Crew is so good. Like, it's so good. I'm gonna go with the Crew. It's a tough one. Okay, the Crew versus the Jump Drive versus Keyforge. Jump Drive is real good, but Keyforge is just fantastic, man. So is Arkham Horror. Jump Drive is real good though. But versus Attack on Titan, these I would put pretty much the same level. Jump Drive's a little bit better, I think. I mean, I love Attack on Titan. It's my favorite show ever. But you know, it's not the best game. And it's a bit long. It's a bit tricky, but I like it a lot. It's kind of weird comparisons. Love Letter versus, I like the Attack on Titan game better. Love Letter versus Just One, probably Just One. Love Letter, we'll go with Codenames versus No Thanks. I like No Thanks a lot. It's pretty fun. Codenames Duet. We'll go with the Hav over Coffee Roasters. We'll go with the Game over Coffee Roasters. We'll go with Coffee Roasters over Cockroach Poker. I guess Cockroach Poker over Magic. Magic over Castles. Go with Coup over Castles of Burgundy. One Night Werewolf over Castles of Burgundy. Oh boy, this is a tough one. I mean, not really. I think it's Fantastic Factories, but Kanban is real good. I mean, like I said, I just got it a week ago, so it would feel weird putting it above Fantastic Factories. But yeah, Fantastic Factories wins. Dungeons & Dragons beats Kanban. I like the theme in Kanban so much, and it's been a game I've been wanting for a while. Hadrian's Wall look great, but is it better than Kanban? Is it better than Kanban? I don't know. I don't want to have I don't want to pick Kanban just because it's so new, but it's real fun. I like the theme. It's got a lot of modularity to it. You could change. There's different ranks you could go for. There's different variants. It comes with it. I bought the expansion with it that I haven't even attempted to play with yet. So there's a lot of content for that. I mean, Hadrian's Wall, it's classic. Got the campaign. It's a very fun roll and write, but which one's better? I'm going Kanban. I know it seems weird. Hadrian's Wall versus Hearthstone. Hearthstone's good. Hearthstone's real fun, but Hadrian's Wall is just I don't know, it's kind of a classic for me at this point. Fallout versus Hearthstone. I'm gonna go with Hearthstone. Fallout's real good though. Is it better than Gaia Project? Well, these are pretty similar comparisons, I would say, as far as setup time and play time. These are probably about the same. I do like the Fallout franchise a lot, so I think that gives it a slight edge. Curious Cargo versus Gaia Project. I like Gaia Project a lot. It's a great game, but Curious Cargo, something about it. I haven't got to play it that much. I played it a decent amount. It's so fun. Gaia Project beats D100 Dungeon. Okay, we got the two RPGs going head to head. I think, I don't know. Umbra's pretty fun, but the rules are not as clear as I'd like them to be at some points, and that's led to some confusion. So I think D100 just beats it out a little bit. Umbra beats Hive. We'll go with Food Chain Island over Hive. Ooh, two-player only games going on here. We'll go with Seven Wonders Duel. Agropolis versus Hive. Go with Agropolis. Airland and Sea. We'll go with Hive. High Society versus Airland and Sea. We'll go with High Society. Airland and Sea versus Gloomhaven. Kind of a weird comparison. We'll go Gloomhaven though. Dominion versus Airland and Sea. I like Dominion. Turing Machine versus Railroad Ink Blue. I feel like this is one of the top comparisons because these are probably some of my top games. Railroad Ink is so good, especially the blue version. I just a lot of times just playing without expansions is such a simplistic, but I think a good game. And it's probably one of my favorite roll and writes. Well, we'll see after this if it's one of my favorites, if it is my favorite. But Turing Machine has just knocked it out of the park for me as far as what a deduction game could be. It's got the solo, it's got the website, the variants, all that stuff. I'm gonna go with Turing Machine. It's a tough decision for sure. Okay, here we go. Railroad Ink versus Twilight Inscription. These are obviously both roll and writes. Very different scales as far as like, you know, how long it takes to play, the rules and whatnot. Which one do I like better? I'm gonna give it to Railroad Ink, but Twilight Inscription is real good. Is it better than Pokemon? I'm pretty new into Pokemon. I mean, I played it back in the day. I had cards back in the day. I didn't really play it. Play the games, like the video games, but I have to give it to Twilight Inscription. It's a real good game. Pokemon versus Warp's Edge. Warp's Edge is real good. Pokemon versus Tiny Epic Galaxy. I'm gonna give it to Tiny Epic Galaxy. Sorry, Pokemon. These Tiny Epic games are pretty fun. Not better than, you beat that. World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King versus Race for the Galaxy. Race for the Galaxy is real good. It's probably going to show in this list that I like Jump Drive more. Now, this compared to this, though, I do like this a whole lot. This is a good game. Race for the Galaxy is probably better than Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Versus I like Yu-Gi-Oh! Railroad Ink's better than Three Dragon Ante. Three Dragon Ante versus Suburbia. I'll go Suburbia. Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza beats Three Dragon Ante. Orchard will also be Three Dragon Ante. Palm Island's real good. Sprawlopolis is good. Sushi Go Party probably beats it. Spotted beat it. Spotted is so simplistic. I like it. Three Dragon Ante I do probably like better than Skull. Unsurmountable probably better than Skull. Welcome to probably better than Skull. Welcome back to the dungeon. I've had some good games for Skull. It's one of my like older games in my collection, but I don't know. This is kind of a tough one. I'll give it to Skull. Welcome back to the dungeon versus Spirit Island. Yeesh. Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna get some hate for this, but yeah, I'm gonna go with Welcome Back to the Dungeon. Yeah, and Welcome to the Dungeon. Yep. Three Sisters versus Spirit Island. I don't know. We'll go Spirit Island. Three Sisters versus Ragemore. Go with Ragemore. Ragemore's pretty good. Three Sisters I think I like better than One Deck. Tiny Epic is probably better than One Deck Dungeon. Probably this is better than that. One Deck's better than Ugly Griffin. Pentaquark versus Ugly Griffin. I think I like Pentaquark better, but I'm real bad at it. Role player. I'm not the biggest fan of Ugly Griffin. Sorry. Here we go. This is another, I think, top comparison. We got Fantastic Factories versus The Crew. I love The Crew, but I think Fantastic Factories is better. The Crew versus Dungeons and Dragons. Like, there's so much to D&D, but comparing it to just The Crew. I'm gonna go with The Crew. That feels weird. Keyforge versus D&D. Oh my god. Poor D&D is just gonna get knocked down this list. But it's so weird. Like, these are strange comparisons, but I mean, I feel like it's only fair. So Keyforge. I mean, I have to go with D&D. Keyforge is great. Is it better than Kanban? Is it better than Kanban? Kanban's great. Keyforge is just something else, though. Kanban versus Arkham. Because Arkham's a classic. That's like one of my first big solo games. I haven't played it in a while on the channel, but I definitely will here some point in the future. Be playing it more. But as far as this comparison goes, I'll give it to Kanban. That feels so weird. I don't like it. I shouldn't have done that. I know I can undo if I want to. I'll give it to Arkham Horror. It's such a classic game. Hadrian's Wall versus Jump Drive. I like Jump Drive better. I think it's simpler. It's quicker. Hadrian's Wall versus Monopoly Deal. I'll give it to Hadrian's Wall. It's a good game. Hearthstone versus Monopoly Deal. Hearthstone's great. Real fun. Monopoly Deal versus Fallout. Kind of a weird comparison. Fallout's great. Super fun. Long game, though. I'm going to have to give it to Monopoly Deal. Attack on Titan's probably better than Fallout. Fallout just won. Fallout's good. I need to give it some credit. Curious Cargo, gotta get that up there. I love Curious Cargo. Just one versus Gaia Project. I feel like Gaia Project it's had some tough competition, so it's probably down on the list. D100 versus Just One. I guess D100. It's real fun. Just One's though probably beats Umbra. Love Letter probably beats Umbra. No Thanks probably beats Umbra. Codenames Duet probably beats Umbra. Le Havre or Umbra. Le Havre or Umbra. Probably the Havre. Umbra or the game. Go with Umbra. The game, Food Chain Island. We'll go with Food Chain Island. The game versus Seven Wonders. Go with Seven Wonders. Agropolis versus the game. I'm gonna go with Agropolis. Hive versus the game. We'll go with the game. Hive versus Coffee Roasters. Coffee Roaster. Hive versus Pocket Cockroach Poker. I was reading the pocket there. We'll go with Hive. High Society versus Cockroach Poker. Probably High Society. Gloomhaven versus Cockroach Poker. Weird comparison. Probably Gloomhaven. Dominion versus Cockroach Poker. We'll go with Cockroach Poker. Dominion versus Magic. Probably Dominion. Airline and Sea versus Magic. We'll go with Magic. Airline and Sea versus Coup. We'll go with Coup. Airline and Sea versus One Night Ultimate Werewolf. We'll go with One Night. Airline and Sea versus Castles. We'll go with Airline and Sea. Castles versus Friday. I'll go with Castles. Oh boy. I felt like this was going to come up at some point. Fantastic Factories versus Turing Machine. Can I just skip this one? I'd rather just skip it. Can I just choose none? Because Turing Machine's so good. It's one of my favorites. Fantastic Factories is so good. One of my favorites. But which one is my favorite? I mean, we'll know by the end of this, but this is a really tough one. I knew this comparison was going to come up at some point. Because I love engine building games, and I think Fantastic Factories is probably one of my favorite engine building games. But Turing Machine's so good. It's got, you can play it solo, you can play it co-op, you can play it competitive, you can use the online thing and do the nightmare mode. You got infinite numbers of problems, so you never are gonna play the same game twice in a row. You got the different difficulties, the different verifier numbers. I'm a big fan of variability and modularity when it comes to games, and Turing Machine has that in spades. So is Fantastic Factory, though. It has all the corporations, it's got the different difficulties, it's got the great solo AI, it's got the awesome playmat. I mean, both of these games have a lot going for them, so this is a tough one for sure. Okay, I'm gonna go with Turing Machine. It's done. Fantastic Factories versus Railroad Inc. This is also gonna be a tough one, but Fantastic Factories gets the win. The Crew versus Railroad Inc. This is just probably the top of the list at this point. I'm deciding the fate of my top games. Railroad Inc. is real good, but I like co-op games. But I like games where you can just kind of build stuff. Railroad Inc. is so chill, so good, but The Crew has just so many good moments that I think it beats it out. Railroad Inc. versus Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons and Dragons I've played for a while. It's such a good game, and I think it deserves a spot. Keyforge versus Railroad Inc. Once again, Railroad Inc. great game, but Keyforge is just something else. I think it deserves a spot. Kanban versus Railroad Inc. Railroad Inc. I'm so sorry, man. I almost want to give it to Railroad Inc., and I think I will. Arkham's great, but not better than Twilight Inscription or Railroad Inc. Warp's Edge versus Arkham. I'll give it to Arkham. Warp's Edge versus Jump Drive. Interesting. I think Jump Drive is just a fantastic game. So good. Warp's Edge versus Hadrian's Wall. Warp's Edge is real fun. But Hadrian's Wall, got all the modularity, you can play with more than one person, you got the campaign. Warp's Edge is real fun. I like Warp's Edge. Hadrian's Wall versus Tiny Epic, we'll go with Hadrian's Wall. Hearthstone versus Tiny Epic, with Hearthstone. Monopoly Deal versus Tiny Epic Galaxy. Tiny Epic Galaxy is good, but Monopoly Deal is just so fun. Attack on Titan, the deck building game, beats it. Fallout's good. It's long. The rules could be confusing. But it's good. Tiny Epic Galaxy is probably better. Western I probably like better. Pokemon I probably like better. I do think I like that game better. Unfortunately, not unfortunately. I don't know. I want to like the Fallout game more. It's a big setup. It's a long game. Reach of the Galaxy probably beats it out. Yu-Gi-Oh probably beats it out. It's probably just falling down the list right now. Sorry, Fallout. Railroad Inc. probably beats it out. Suburbia versus Fallout. We'll go with Fallout there. Curious Cargo for sure. Such a good game. Gaia Project probably beats Suburbia. D100 versus Suburbia. I'm gonna go to Suburbia. Taco Cat Go Cheese Pizza, of course. Orchard versus D100 Dungeon. Orchard's good, but D100 Dungeon I've been having a lot of fun with recently. So go with D100 Dungeon. Orchard, just one. Love Letter beats Palm Island. No Thanks beats Palm Island. Codenames beats Palm Island. Le Havre versus, I like Palm Island a lot. Le Havre versus Sprawlopolis. Sprawlopolis probably beats it. Le Havre versus Sushi Go. I like Le Havre. Umbra versus Sushi Go, kind of a weird comparison. I'll go Sushi Go Party. Umbra versus Spotted, I like Spotted a lot. Three Dragon Ante versus Umbra. Umbra's good. I haven't played it all that much, but it's good. Food Chain Island versus Three Dragon Ante. These are both pretty decent games. Like Food Chain Island. Three Dragon Ante beats Seven Wonders. Unsurmountable beats Seven Wonders. Seven Wonders probably beats Welcome 2. Agropolis probably beats Welcome 2. Welcome 2 beats the game. The game, probably I would pick the game over the Skull. Coffee Roasters versus Skull. I'll go Coffee Roasters. Skull versus Hive. With Skull. Hive versus Welcome Back. Go with Welcome Back and Welcome to the Dungeons. Hive versus Spirit Island. I'll go with Hive. Spirit Island versus High Society. I'd probably go with High Society. Gloomhaven versus Spirit Island. I'd probably go with Gloomhaven. Cockroach Poker versus Spirit Island. I'd choose Cockroach Poker. Spirit Island versus Dominion. Spirit Island. Dominion versus Ragemore. Probably Dominion. Or Ragemore versus Magic the Gathering. Probably Ragemore, I guess. Actually, I take that one back. I haven't undoed many. I'm gonna pick Magic the Gathering instead of Ragemore. Ragemore versus Q. I'll go with Ragemore. Three Sisters versus Q. I'll go with Q. One Night Ultimate Werewolf versus Three Sisters. We'll go with Three Sisters. Tiny Epic Zombies versus One Night. We'll go with the Zombies. Forest of Shadows versus Ultimate Werewolf. We'll go with Ultimate Werewolf. Airline Sea versus Dungeon. One Deck Dungeon. Castles of Burgundy versus Forest of Shadows. We'll go with Castle Burgundy, the card game. Friday over this. All right, here we go. My favorite game, of course, is Turing Machine. Who would have guessed? Number 2 is Fantastic Factories. 3 is The Crew. 4th is Dungeons & Dragons. 5th is Key Forward. 6th is Kanban. 7th is Railroad Inc. 8th is Twilight Inscription. 9th is Arkham Horror. 10th is Jump Drive. Warp's Edge, Hadrian's Wall, Hearthstone, Monopoly Deal. This is pretty close. This feels like what I would think, especially like these top 5. I'm kind of surprised that Dungeons & Dragons being that high up, to be honest. But it's such a fun game. It really is. I've had a lot of good moments playing the game, so I think it does. I'm glad I put it in this list, and it was, there's some weird comparisons, but I think it deserved to be here because I played enough. I played it enough. It's a tabletop game, not necessarily a board game, but I mean, they're just card games in here, so I figured it's totally fair. But yeah, so this is, I'll scroll down. Let's see what's at the bottom of my list. I think I already kind of know. So Dinosaurs is at the bottom. We got Terraforming Mars Ares, Tiny Epic Dungeons, Ugly Griffin Inn, Role Player, Pentacorp, One Deck Dungeon Friday, Castles of Burgundy, Airland and Sea. Yeah, all of these I could definitely, that checks out. Being at the bottom, yeah, some of these games are definitely in the back of my mind that I'm like, if I get more games, yeah, these games are out. So I'll do a quick scroll through just so if anybody's curious on some of these, I'll scroll up at a decent pace so you can pause, check out where certain games fell or what's in certain spots. But yeah, let's see, Taco Cat Go Cheese Pizza, 27th, beat D100 Dungeon, right below Suburbia. Curious Cargo's 24. I thought it'd be a bit higher than that, to be honest. Kind of surprised that Warp's it, or Hadrian's Wall being that high. The Tiny Epics, I'm kind of surprised being that high. But yeah, here we go. So these are my favorite games, and Turing Machine is my favorite game. I think that checks out. Is such a good game. It was tough choosing between Turing Machine and Fantastic Factories because I knew that was pretty much deciding for like that number 1 spot. But I think they're both great games. It's a pretty close call, but I think Turing Machine beats it out. All right, that's gonna do it for this video. I had a lot of fun using this website. I'll post a link down in the description if you want to try this Pub Meeple for yourself. You can kind of import your Board Game Geek list to make it a lot easier and a lot quicker to just rank all your games. I think you could do other ranking stuff. So you want to rank like your favorite foods or your drinks. I'm pretty sure you could do that on the site as well. But it worked really well for board game ranking. I had a lot of fun. There were a lot of interesting decisions. And now I have a list of my favorite games. So I think that's pretty cool. So yeah, leave a like if you enjoyed this video and this type of video. And until next time, I'll see you.